Greetings. What does peace mean to you? Is peace simply an absence of conflict, or is there a positive peace that comes through diversity? September 21st is the International Day of Peace, and on this year's International Day of Peace, our co-director Shirin was invited to give the 8th annual Vajubhai Patel Memorial Lecture. In this presentation, Shirin will go over the issue of whether there can be a positive peace through diversity, as well as some practical tools that we can all use to strengthen and celebrate diversity within our societies. As always, please do remember to like and subscribe so that we at Peace Vigil can keep putting these videos out. With that, here's the 8th annual Vajubhai Patel Lecture. You can see the full event, including the introductions and questions and answers, at the link below in the description.
So before we begin, I just want to quickly tell you that, many people feel that a peace educator comes and tells people to live in peace and harmony. But actually the job of a peace educator is to open the door into the vast and magical world of peace that is within us and outside us, around us, so that we start thinking of peace as a practical and doable thing, not just an idea. Because if you think about it, humanity would have been dead long time ago if peace had not been the more powerful thing, more powerful than violence. So our desire to live is so strong that we naturally are inclined to protect life, not destroy it. So we actually, are naturally peacemakers. We just need to find that out how. So let us begin. And the topic for today is acceptance of diversity is a precondition for peace. So I'm going to share my screen with you. When we talk of diversity, what are we actually talking about? And the thing is that the most basic way to define diversity, or the simplest way, is the word difference. Now, what is difference? Look at this. There are two squares here. One is blue, one is red. We don't say blue is better than red or red is better than blue. We just say there are two different colors, right? That's the simplest way to define what is difference, okay? So difference is just, what is it? It is just variety or heterogeneity, it's that, and not everything or everyone is exactly the same. That's all differences. No need to get scared about the word diversity. Now, the funniest thing, look in the squares there, is that the blue of the square is different from the blue of the writing. And the same is with the red. So can you see that there's diversity even within a color? Similarly, there's diversity within a human being. There's a diversity within family. There's diversity within the same religious group. So diversity is not only between two things, but also within things. We have so many blues, we have so many reds. The next thing to understand is that difference can also mean difference of opinion. So I say the earth is round. That is my understanding. My classmate may come and say, oh no, the earth is flat. That is my understanding. That's okay. We can have a debate, an argument, look at facts and figures and arrive at an informed decision. But we cannot say that everyone has to have the same opinion. We cannot arrive at a same opinion at some point, but we can have differences of opinion. And that, my friends, is called disagreement, right? So diversity is variation, and it can be disagreement. It can be both. And the interesting thing is that both variation and disagreement are normal. They are natural. They've existed forever. So no need to panic. If somebody comes and tells us, oh, that person is different from you. Yeah, it's okay. My dad is different from me. My mom is different from me. We are all different. Nothing to worry about. Now, what makes us? Let's start with our very basic unit, that is us. So this is me. I'm smiling right there. And this is my mom. This is my dad. This is my mom's mom, mom's dad, dad's mom, dad's dad. Those are 7 people right there making my story, okay? Now look, I am descended from these people, but I'm different from them. Am I not? Just like you, you're different from your mom, your dad. Even if you have a sibling from the same parents, you're different. Even if you're twins, you may look the same, but you're different. So this is the basic unit. We start with our own stories always. If you want to work on peace, if you want to understand peace, always begin with yourself. So we see diversity right there. Now multiply this by 8 billion. There are 8 billion people in the world. Can you imagine how much diversity there is? It's mind-boggling. But now, let us find India, because that is our place of birth. That is our motherland. That's the place we love. So let us concentrate on India. And when we look at India, this is a kind of a zoomed in map, we will see that we are connected with so many parts of the world. Also, we must remember that India was populated about, I would say, 65,000 to 70,000 years ago. You know, we all came in different waves from what is the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, that region, and several waves of human beings came, and the oldest human beings that came to India were about 65 to 70,000 years ago. So you can imagine that we have been peopled. Our country has been peopled for 65 to 70,000 years. That means so many people have come. So diversity is natural. We are connected with so many parts of the world by sea and by land. So obviously, you know, there will be diversity, but we learn more about it. Diversity, when we study in peace, we have several categories. How do we say someone is diverse, or some community is diverse, or some country is diverse? We have categories: genetic, gastronomic, linguistic, geographical, religious, and philosophical. Of course, we can also have cultural and other things, but these are the main things. And culture also includes, you know, food and language and so on. But these are the major ones, and I'm going to try and cover them as quickly as I can, so give you an idea of the diversity and why it is essential, and without it, we will actually end up killing each other. So let's look at DNA first. Do you see that little rainbow thing, you know, like a ring on India? That's where I was born. I was born in Delhi. And when I was growing up, if somebody had asked me, if they had asked, like, you know, where are you from? I would say, I'm from Delhi, you know, simple. I'm from Mumbai, I'm from Delhi, I'm from Jaipur. And then if you ask a little bit more, ki bhai aap kahan, you know, aapki kaun si, matlab aapki, like, aapki family kahan se aati hai? People say, where does your family come from? Often the question is asked. And I would say, oh, you know, UP area, you know, Western UP area, kind of, you know, simple. Everybody has that. Now, when I did my DNA analysis, because I'm part of this Peace Educators group, and we always are trying to explore our personal stories, when I did my DNA test, guess where my ancestors came from? Denmark, okay, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, Tamil Nadu, Kazakhstan, Romania, Greece, part of the Northeast, and also Bengal, Central Asia, Eastern Europe, you know, there are all these, the Balkan states, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. And I had no idea. So there's so much diversity in my DNA, and I had no idea. And by the way, this is not thousands of years. It is just the last 200 years. I have an 8th generation grandparent, whatever you may call, great, who came from Denmark, you know, and another one, 8th or 9th generation, who comes from what is now Tamil Nadu. So, you know, we don't know what journey our DNA has taken. We only know us. And so very easily we say, I am this or I am that. But actually, I am so many things. If you think about it, factually speaking, I have, you know, DNA from all these places. So I could say I'm from everywhere. I'm from different parts of India. I'm not just from where I was told I am or where I believed I am. And as I said, we should all remember that at the end of the day, all the human diversity outside of Africa comes from the Horn of Africa, which is Ethiopia, South Sudan, Somalia, you know, that region, the Horn of Africa. That's where we all, our maternal line comes from there. Now let's look at gastronomic. And if I say, okay, you know, what are the few belts in India? Like if I say divide them by grain, generally I get the idea, wheat eating and rice eating, broad categories: wheat eating, rice eating. As we know, we have, these are both grasses. Wheat and rice are grasses. So wheat comes originally, of course, these are wild grasses, but where did it first start to be cultivated? It was the Levant region. Levant, as we know, is Lebanon, Syria, sort of Iraq, part of what is now Turkey, most of Turkey actually. So it comes from there. Rice comes from the Yangtze River Basin, even though there are two varieties, Japonica and Indica. They both come from Yangtze River Basin, which is kind of east of, east part of China, that Shanghai area, if you look at the map. Sugar cane is the third thing which we use all the time. We use it to make sugar. It comes from Papua New Guinea, Taiwan, and southern China. All these three are grasses: wheat, rice, and sugarcane. And they all started being cultivated some thousands of years ago. I would say wheat and rice between 9 and 13,000 years, and sugarcane around 6,000 years. But today, when we eat our food, if somebody says, oh, you are from the wheat eating belt, I'm from the wheat eating belt, or if you're from Kerala, you're from the rice eating belt, we don't say, today I'm going to cook my bread with ingredients from the Levant, from Syria. Do I say that? No, I just say I'm making aate ki roti. I'm just making roti, or I'm boiling rice. I don't say I'm boiling something that originally came from China. We don't say that. So we are so mixed. We have taken things from other parts of the world. A quick thing about meat and fish. Many people have this problem that somebody is eating meat or somebody is eating fish. Let me tell you, from an anthropological point of view, meat and fish have been part of our diet forever. Anywhere in the world you go, there has always been meat and fish part of human diet. And fish, of course, if you're near the river or near the sea, obviously then if you're in the middle of a desert, you're not going to eat fish. So meat and fish have been part of our diets. Now, for a moment, let's put away the thousands of years stuff. So rice, sugarcane, meat are I will say in the last 10 to 13,000 years, and meat and fish, let's say 65, 70,000 years, although even before that, hundreds of thousands of years. Now let's come to chilies, potatoes, and tomatoes. When we use chilies today, do we think of it as a Mexican ingredient? We don't. If we cook potatoes, do we think of Peru and Bolivia? We don't. Tomatoes, do we think of Mexico? We don't. But they are not actually, factually speaking, if you look at the facts and figures, they only arrived in India about, let's say, 18th century. So they've only been part of our diet for the last 300 years or so. But today we consider them as Indian. Today we include them in our diet. I can't imagine my food without chilies. I can't imagine my food without tomatoes and potatoes. You know that just 300 years ago, the masala dosa that everybody eats, it used to have plantain. There's that banana kind of thing, plantain. That's what they used to fill it with. Today, when we order masala dosa, we always think of potato, right? But potato wasn't grown in our country. It came to us, the Portuguese brought it in the 16th, 17th century, and the British popularized it in the 18th century. So the point of this is to understand that our diversity in our food actually comes from different places, and we make it our own by using it. So the way a potato curry, we put potato in Kashmir is different from the way we put potato in Maharashtra. It's different from how we cook potato in Kerala. But at the same time, we keep learning. I'll give you an example. I only learned about tofu and broccoli when I was in my 20s. Are there any ingredients you can think of that you only learned about now? Like people keep saying chia seeds, it's become very fashionable. I had never heard of chia seeds before. But once we start using things, once we start enjoying things, we don't differentiate. We don't say, oh, that is from China. No, it becomes part of our diversity. Similarly, things that originated in the region of India or say South Asia, they have become part of other people's cultures, like mango. Just the other day we were talking about it. But that doesn't mean mango is Indian. Mango is also, the national fruit of Philippines. And there are many varieties of mango in Southeast Asia. So this is very important to understand that we are part and parcel of a journey. And we take things, we give things, some of it we retain, some of it we don't retain. That is how it happens, the diversity happens. Now let's look at linguistic. When I ask people how many languages are there in India, most of the time I get the answer in the 20s. People say 29, 22, 23. Do you know that the 8th schedule of the Constitution has 121 classified languages? And that's just classified, meaning jiske hame pata hai exactly, this is called this is that, called that. Just in the northeast of India, we have over 200 languages that people say they speak. Just in the northeastern part of India, we have 19,569 raw linguistic affiliations. We have 1,369 classified mother tongues that are classified by the Indian government. So you can imagine there are so many unclassified. In fact, I have the number here, I think. Yes, 1,474 unclassified mother tongues. And if you talk to, we have an anthropologist in our organization who can tell you why there are so many languages in the world. It's very interesting, actually. It's because we like to keep secrets. You know, meri baat usko na pata chale. So we develop languages. Little groups also develop languages. For example, in Papua New Guinea, which is not that big a country, there are hundreds of languages. But anyway, that is a separate issue, but it's very interesting. If you ever get the chance, you should attend that lecture on anthropology by Peace Vigil. So these are the interesting figures. But now when I ask people what is the root or what is the basis of Indian languages, which language is our mother language, what answer do I get? Sanskrit, right? But let me tell you, Sanskrit is one of the languages in the 4 group of languages, 4 families of languages that are present in our country. We have 4 languages families, not 4 languages, 4 language families. They're called the Indo-European, Dravidian, Austroasiatic, and Sino-Tibetan. Most of us have not heard of them. Why? Because we are only thinking in terms of Hindi-speaking belt, non-Hindi speaking belt, Hindi speaking belt, non-Hindi speaking belt. You know, we even fight about it, not realizing that there are so many languages and they all come from different language groups. By the way, English is an official language of India. All those who say this is better than that should realize this. English is an official language of India, and we cannot say any other language is better than this one. Okay, remember the first rule of difference. We are all equal. We are just different. Doesn't mean Hindi is better than Tamil or Gujarati or Marathi. We are all equal. And new languages are becoming popular. You know, our young people are learning Spanish, French, and whatever, and using those words as part of their vocabulary. So let me quickly tell you about the Indo-European languages. Very interesting. Look at this. So this is a big map. We are not going to go through all the things. We just look on the left side, the Indo-Iranian. You will see that Sanskrit has the same root as Persian. Iranian languages, the old Iranian language, which they call the Avestan and so on, they are related to Sanskrit. We are also Sanskrit. If you look at the main root, you're going into, French and German and so on. But the closest language in the language family of Indo-European languages to Sanskrit is Persian. So do we say that Sanskrit is Persian? Do we say Sanskrit is coming from Iran? No. It's just a commonality. They just share that mother somewhere or the father. And we have to realize we are part of the larger world. Now look at this map. I love this map. This is a South Asia map, not just India. But look at that gray area there. It's pretty big, right? It's a big part of India. Where are those languages from? They are from a family of languages called the Dravidian families. Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil. They are from that language group. And some of it even goes into Sri Lanka, as you can see. And some of it is actually present in the present day Pakistan also. The map is showing there. Then we have let's go to the Sino-Tibetan languages. We completely forget about these languages, that they actually exist. Or if I ask most people what are the languages spoken in the northeastern part of India, they don't know. They don't know the names of those languages. But those are also part of India, and they come from a family called Sino-Tibetan languages, which share a lot of similarity with the Chinese languages, with Myanmar languages, Thai language, and so on. And now I want to concentrate on Austroasiatic languages. So if you look at this map, the purple color, I know it's not a lot, but it's still part of India. Orissa, parts of Andhra Pradesh, parts of Madhya Pradesh, the tribal people are often speaking these languages. You may have heard of Santhali. Santhali language is part of the Munda group, okay? And then look on the east side of Sri Lanka. Do you see those beautiful dots? What are those? Andaman and Nicobar Islands. What do you think people speak there? The languages that are spoken there are the same as, or not, I should not say same, but quite close to what the Aboriginal people of Australia speak. Isn't that amazing? We are connected with the original people of Australia. That is a language group we don't talk about, but let's look at, the map quickly, the world map. Let's go here quickly and see, we are connected by sea to that part. So languages develop like that. We are connected to in the West with West Asia and, Europe. On the East, we are connected with China. So we develop our languages like that. And there's nothing wrong or bad in it. That's just our diversity, and we should be very proud of it. And others have the same. Okay, so one sec, I don't know what happened here, but yeah. So we are done with the linguistic thing, and I'm sorry, I can't go into great details. I'll be happy to talk about it if later on anybody wants to, but let's come to the geographical diversity. Now, this is the simplest thing even a 5-6-year-old can understand, that if you live in a very cold place with high mountains and it snows there, you're going to wear a cap and gloves and socks and a coat. If you live closer to the equator, you're going deep down south, it's very hot, you're not going to wear it. Just simple diversity. But people even fight about that. तू कैसे कपड़े पहनता है, देखो उनको वो कैसे कपड़े पहनते हैं. अरे भाई, it develops because of geography and culture. It has nothing to do with somebody trying to make you angry. The people just wear different things. A Bangladeshi will have more in common with somebody in East Bengal than somebody in Punjab. It's normal because we are geographically and culturally, we are different. We are in different parts of India. We won't have the same rice variety growing in Bengal that we have in, say, Rajasthan. It's too dry there. They don't have the water to grow rice. So they have some varieties, but they take less water. And that's part of our beautiful diversity. Let's come to religious and philosophical. Why? This is why I have kept it to the end, is because we fight about this the most, or we are made to fight about it. Let's not say we fight, we are made to fight about it the most. Religion is what? What is religion? Religion is a philosophy, right? It's just that in this philosophy, we associate it with God. But otherwise, it is a philosophy of living, of understanding life. So let's simplify it, okay? It is a way of life we adopt, we decide. Our parents decide. Also remember that this is an accident of birth. If I'm born a Muslim, I had nothing to do with it. If I'm born in a higher caste or lower caste, I had nothing to do with it. If I'm born a Hindu, I had nothing to do with it. It's an accident of birth. And then I follow it forward if it appeals to me, or for whatever reason I carry it on. Some people change it. It's okay. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. We are just trying to live life, all of us. And for us, for some of us, religion is important. It helps us, guide us, so that's okay. Now, one thing to remember is that in India, we have all the religions of the world. I think everybody knows this in this audience and everywhere else, that we have all the religions of the world you can think of are represented in India. I'm sorry, I'm just going to have a sip of water. Thank you. Acha, jisko maze nahi aa rahe hain, is not finding it interesting, or just can't understand, please do send me a message on chat ki ye samajh mein nahi aaya. I'll be happy to, explain. But So we have all the religions in the world, and throughout history, India has been one country where all the religions have somehow arrived. It's just happened. Maybe because we were good people, and we like to know. We were very curious, and we were very accepting. So that happens. I'm not sure if we can say the same today, but our ancestors were much more open to other ideas, and they welcomed people. So we have religions all over the world. Let's quickly look at Hinduism. Now, Hinduism is an ancient religion, a beautiful religion followed by almost 80% of our population. And the oldest text that we can find. So this is really, I'm trying to do religious education in 5 minutes. Please bear with me. If there are questions, we can deal with them at some point. But the oldest text we have is the Rig Veda, which was written between the 16th and the 13th century BC. Now, remember that Hinduism was not called Hinduism. We call Hinduism only in the last couple of 100 years. In the beginning, it was called the Vedic tradition, okay, or the Vedic religions they were called. And we have the Vedas. What we must remember is that the Vedas share the gods. So the Rig Veda has these gods who are the same gods as in Iran, in Iraq, and so on. I'm not kidding you. You can go and research this, okay? They are the same God. We also have traditions and rituals and all that are the same that were followed in the pre-Parsi, the pre-Parsi Iran. And that is just because Hinduism originated in the northwestern part of India, northwestern. And as we know, we looked at geography just now, it goes on to attach itself with Central Asia and so on. So it is normal. It is normal. We don't say Hinduism is Iranian. Do we say that? We don't say that. We say Hinduism is Indian. But if we go back, thousands of years ago, it has connections with other parts of the world. And even language-wise, as I've told you, Sanskrit, which is the language of the Rig Veda, it is connected with other languages in the world. So, it's okay. It is Indian, and also it's the world's. It's okay. Jainism and Buddhism, I want to mention also, because you see, we think of a religion as a static thing. It just appears. I have an apple, I ate it, it's finished. No. It's not an apple. It's a way of life. It's been there for thousands of years. So it is influenced by other things. For example, it was influenced by Jainism and Buddhism. So the idea of vegetarianism, for instance, comes from Jainism and Buddhism. It does not come from Hinduism. But Hinduism made it its own. All right? That doesn't mean that Hindus don't eat meat. Some Hindus eat meat, some Hindus don't eat meat. End of story. They're just different. Nothing to worry about. Next thing, Christianity. As we all know, Jesus Christ was crucified about 2000 years ago. And it's interesting that just after his death, two of his apostles means the direct followers, Saint Bartholomew and Saint Thomas, they arrived in India. Think about it. एक religion अभी पैदा हुआ है. There was no Christianity before Jesus died. Jesus, while he was alive, was already creating these communities, but they were not called Christian. Christian, the word comes only after Jesus died. How much more beautiful can it be that a religion, when it started, arrived in India at the same time? So Christianity in India is 2000 years old, and it did not come here with the British or with the sword or anything. No, it just came through the sea. People come and go, fishermen come, traders come. That's how Christianity arrived in India. Let's look at Islam. Again, beautiful. Shouldn't we be proud of it? That the same time that Islam emerged in the world, it also arrived in India. 7th century AD, as we know, the leader of the Islamic faith was Prophet Muhammad. And while he was alive, Islam arrived in India. Shouldn't we be proud of it? That something just arrived in the world, a religious philosophy, and we already have it in our country. So Islam came through Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat, and it did not come with Mughals. It did not come with the sword. It came with traders. It came with Sufi saints. It came with regular people. Let us remember that. Sikhism. We often forget about Sikhism. Sikhism is one of the modern religions. It came very recently, 15th century, and was started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Now, I want to give you this as an example because I find it very funny when people talk of place of origin as something that's very important for religion. You know, our religious and spiritual journeys are not bound by geography. I'll prove you with an example. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji started Sikhism in the 15th century. Our population of Sikhs is, it's written there, 1.72%, right? But did you know that it is also 1.4% of the population of Canada? That's almost the same as us. Now imagine the Canadian government telling all the Sikh Canadians, no, you're not Canadian enough because you're Sikh. Your religion, originated in India, go back. Doesn't work like that. Religious philosophies, like all philosophies, go beyond our boundaries. Look at Buddhism. We only have 0.7% of our population Buddhist. But it is the official religion of Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia. It is the major religious philosophy in Japan. It is well respected in China. So religion has no geographical boundaries. We only have 0.7% of Buddhists in our population. But in other parts of the world, there's so many. Okay, now I will end the religious part with a few points, which you must remember, please, whenever anybody tries to tell you so-and-so is different from you. We are all actually different, true, but we don't have to be enemies, okay? So let us think of the word syncretic. What is the word syncretic? Syncretic means that we overlap, we mix, so we mix things. For instance, if I'm going to Haji Ali's Dargah, I don't have to be a Muslim. I can go to Haji Ali's Dargah. If I believe in, say, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and I want to sing the poetry that is mentioned in the Guru Granth Sahib, I can do that. I like Kabir, I can do that. I don't have to be Hindu, Muslim, Sikh. That is called syncretic. Okay, we are all mixed. For example, Sai Baba. Everybody goes and worships. It's okay. Mirabai ka bhajan. If somebody wants to sing Mirabai ka bhajan, are we going to say you have to be Hindu to sing Mirabai ka bhajan? We don't say that. We all love, religion and spirituality is not something you can dictate. Then local gods. We forget about local gods. Think about it. You go to any village in India, they have their own local deity, right? And we have to remember that those are also part of our religious traditions. Second thing, please remember, is that there's diversity within religions. As I mentioned in the beginning also, there's diversity between categories, within categories also. So there is, in Hinduism, there are several sects. In Islam, even though broadly there's Shia and Sunni, there are several sects. Even in Sikhism, even though it's a new religion, there are sects. In Christianity, for example, if you go to Kerala, they have sects which are absolutely unique to India. You will not find them anywhere in the world. And do you know that the most similar Christianity to what we find in Kerala is in Ethiopia? Isn't that amazing? So we have to remember that. Third thing, reform. Don't forget, every religion in the world has reformist movements. In India, we have Brahmo Samaj. We have, what is that one called? I'm forgetting the name. But we have a lot of reform movements. Then don't forget about mixed families. The Indian Constitution gives you the right to intermarry. If you want to, it's totally fine. So there are mixed families, people who have Hindu mom, Muslim dad, Christian dad, Jain mom, they are also part of our diversity. So whenever somebody tries to pit you against another in terms of religion, think of how mixed we are. Don't think in black and white. And also don't forget atheists. You and I may not be atheists. Some people are, and they have the right to be. You can't force somebody to believe in God. Okay, they are just there. Okay, now, after we have talked of all this, once we have understood how inherent, how inseparable diversity is to India, we will start to define who an Indian is in a better way. So what comes to your mind when I say who is an Indian? Let's close our eyes for a second. What comes to our mind when we say who is an Indian? So after understanding how much diversity there is, please open your eyes. You should be able to see many Indians. So this is also an Indian. Okay, this is also an Indian. This is an Indian. He is from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is an Indian. 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 I can go on and on. We are many different kinds. And those people who don't understand it and insist that an Indian has to fit a mold, those people who insist that Indians have to fit a mold must realize that they're causing a huge damage. If somebody is coming and telling people that you can be Indian only if you say, only if you have long hair, or only if you eat carrots, or only if you call your mom Amma, if you call your mom Ai, you will not be Indian. Beware of those people, because they're causing a lot of damage to us as a country. Always remember that if we don't feel accepted and respected, think about it in a family, think about in a institution, in your school, in your place of work. If we don't feel respected and accepted, we are told constantly that you're not part of a group or a country because you don't fit someone's definition of what is Indian or not. How are you going to feel? Just think about it. Human nature. How are you going to feel? Not happy, right? Not good. A society where people are made to feel inferior cannot be a peaceful society. And that is the main crux of this all. If we don't accept the fact that we are diverse and accept it, not just say, theek hai. No, accept it, celebrate it. That's the only way you're going to have a peaceful society. You cannot say he is more Indian than you because he fits my definition of India. I call water, water, pani. Somebody may call it tanni. So what? So remember that when you are saying, again, remember the first slide. You're also denying the variation between communities, between individuals, right? So I'll tell you just one example. There are many examples. For example, in my mom's family, they are vegetarian and they're very strict vegetarian. We also don't eat onion and garlic. Okay, in my mom's family, if somebody eats garlic or onion, it's like a big problem. Okay, but I have Hindu friends in Bengal who eat fish and who eat meat. Am I going to tell them they're less Hindu than my mom's family? I don't have the right to do that. And the same goes for India. And you may think that, this is my last point before I conclude, is that especially with religion, okay, we have been told again and again and again, over and over, that people fight. You can't live together. If you're two different religions, you can't live together. Nothing can be farther than the truth. I'm telling you. Kings and queens fight. They always fight. They want power. They fight. Why would you and I fight? We want our children to grow up, right? We don't want our children to be killed. We don't want our houses to be burned. We don't want our businesses to be destroyed. So why would we want to fight with each other? It is common sense. No normal human being wants to fight with another human being. It's just that I will explain why we fight. But the problem is that we are made to think that the other person, because he or she is different from me, he or she is my enemy. Can you tell me when the first communal riot in India took place? Because everyone keeps telling us, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya, bahut purane se hum log jhagad rahe hain, we've been fighting. The first communal riot in India took place only in the 18th century. Before that, there is no communal riot in India. But as we have seen in the diversity slide of religion, we have had different religions for thousands of years. So how come we didn't end up killing each other? We didn't, because we are quite sensible people. It's just a handful of people who come and make us fight. So the first religious riot happened in the 18th century in Gujarat on a holy day, after the Mughal Empire was disintegrating and the colonial powers were coming in. Put two and two together, divide and rule. That's where communal riots started. Before that, we had no communal riots. And I'm sorry, I don't have time to go into details. As I said, you are welcome to write to me at info@peacevigil.net. And I will now conclude with just 2 points. Okay. And they're very important points. Please remember. And because I'm an educator, I have to leave you with an exercise that you can do later on. So that will be my last thing. That will be my assignment if you feel like doing it. But we are coming to the last 2 points, and I want you to remember them so that you have an understanding of what this whole presentation was about. Okay, so the 2 points that I have are these. And I wrote them down so that, you know, we are very clear. The first is that we must remind ourselves that diversity is not only natural, it is unavoidable. You and I can't do anything about it. It's just there. Let's accept it. You know, it's there and it is there to stay. What that means is that I, you, everybody else, Samir, Pooja, you know, Priya, you know, Sonal, all people here, we are just links. Links, you understand? Links in a long chain. The chain was present before us. I told you my ancestors are coming from other parts of the world, and it will go beyond me, right? My children, my children's children. So I'm just a link, okay? And because I'm a link, remember there's so many chains. Remember that slide where we did with the dad and mom, you know, so we are connected with several links. And because of those links, we have diversity. Okay. But remember, we are just one, just a little link in a big world of diversity. The second thing I want to tell you that you must remember is what Gandhiji said, one of my heroes. He said that he hates to, no, he doesn't say hate. He said, I don't like to use the word tolerance. Tolerance is not a good word. Why? Because when we say tolerance, we are assuming we are superior. You know, there's an arrogance in the word tolerance. Oh, Sabiha, I let you grow your hair. Oh, Mamta, I let you eat carrots, even though I hate them. No, Sabiha can grow her hair. Mamta can eat carrots. So the word is not, what we are looking for is not tolerance. What we are looking for is acceptance and celebration. Okay, those are the 2 words we are looking for. We accept the diversity and we celebrate it, because in some ways we are all connected, right? And now I leave you with an exercise, please. And I will tell you before I do the exercise is that the reason this exercise is important is every time you are in doubt, like Gandhiji said, every time we are in doubt, we need to go back to basics. And like Sabiha said in the beginning, you know, peace education is required in educational institutions. Let's not just think about peace as an idea. We actually need to practice it. There are exercises, there are lessons that we need to attend, learn. You know, that's how we, just like people teach hate, people teach warfare, right? Bandook kaise uthani hai, aise marni hai, you know, yahan se cavalry aani hai, yahan se. Usi tarah se peace also has to be learned. You know, there's a strategy to it, there are lessons. So every time somebody comes and tells you, oh, they are your enemy because they are different, please do this exercise, okay? And I'm sharing that with you, and that is the last thing. Please excuse me, just one. Yeah, this is my exercise. It's called Identity Flower Exercise for Peace. And I have thousands of exercises that we do. Today we'll do one. And first you'll do it for yourself. So when in doubt, please do this exercise. Number 1, I'm a human. I'm doing it for yours, you know, just to show you. You can do it yourself. So there's the stem, green stem connected to the red center. I'm human. My first identity is that I'm human. I'm not monkey. I'm not cow. I'm human being. Okay. Number 2, for me, this is my identity. Yours can be different. I'm a woman. Okay. Number 3, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a daughter-in-law. I come from the Yamuna area of India. Right. What languages do I speak? English, Hindi, Urdu, a little bit of this and that, Punjabi, you know, now I live in Africa, I'm learning some African languages. My belief system is syncretic. I'd celebrate Diwali and Eid and nobody can stop me from doing that. That's just how I am. I love it, you know. And education, I have some educational qualifications that I don't need to go into. And I work at Peace Vigil. Sorry, that thing is missing. Music, I love classical music. I just love it. I also love sort of jazz, jazz music. I love movies. Oh, I love Bollywood movies. My passion is history research. I'm learning to knit. That is the new thing I'm acquiring. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to make a sweater and show to all of you. And I also have dreams. So one of the dreams, for instance, is that I really wish I could make that tahdig dish, where the rice, the Iranian dish, where the rice is nicely golden on the top. And, so that's my dream. And that makes me, all this makes me, right? Just wanting to hear music doesn't make me. Just being a mom doesn't make me. All this makes me. So when you are in doubt, next time somebody tries to pit you against another person, community, whatever, please think of this exercise. Do it for yourself. And you know what? Added assignment. Do it for the person who's supposed to be your enemy. And you will realize she's also a mom, maybe. She may also like the same music as you. Okay, so in many ways we are similar, in many ways we are different, but at the end of the day, we are all human beings who just come in different molds, and we just happen to be born in a family, country, whatever. So please, I really hope that this presentation helps you become stronger advocates and defenders of peace. And I thank you. I thank all of you. And please, I just want you to remember, like Sabiha said in the beginning, that our motto is peace needs all of us. It can't do without us. We are all important. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this lecture by our co-director, Shirin. Peace Vigil is dedicated to promoting peace through lectures like this and workshops. To get in touch or to host a workshop, write to us at info@peacevigil.net. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next program.